Hi, I'm here with Devon Allman. Thanks, Devon. I appreciate you taking some time for me.
Thanks for having me.
You're here tonight at Ram's Head on stage.
Yes.
Playing with Royal Southern Brotherhood.
Yes, sir.
And you only have a few shows left with them.
Yeah, I think we got like a dozen left, yeah.
And how's that feel?
Oh man, it's bittersweet. You know, I'm excited to go out and tour behind my new record, Ragged and Dirty, you know, and kind of take all that music to the world. But, you know, I've had such a wonderful time with these cats. It's going to be hard to say goodbye. You know?
Yeah, I can imagine. So I think you have 7 shows left, if I counted right.
Yeah?
Yeah.
I don't even know.
Yeah. And then looking forward to getting out on tour to support your own album?
Yeah, because the record's only been out for a few months, so I really haven't had a chance to go out there and, you know, play the songs from the record, so I'm excited.
I listened to the album again yesterday for, you know, I've listened to it a few times now, and the album has this nice progression to it, for me anyway, my personal opinion. And when I hit Midnight Lake Michigan, yeah, that song is killer.
Thanks, man.
Yeah, I really like that song.
I love that one.
What was the inspiration behind that?
I had been listening to Eric Clapton's soundtrack work he did for the movie Rush from, it's either like 1990, right around there. But there's a lot of instrumental, like, kind of mood pieces on there, and I don't know, we were done making the record as far as recording the basic tracks for the songs, but I really kind of wanted to make an instrumental statement. I've had instrumentals on my past records, and so I just turned to Tom Hambridge, my producer, and said, man, can you give me like a 10-minute real out there kind of jazzy mood piece, you know? And he asked me to describe, you know, what I wanted to try, and he loved the idea. So we were going to go in and cut this particular form of it 3 different times, and then kind of Frankenstein all the best takes from this and from that into one solid take. Right. And we recorded it the first time, and that was it.
One take?
Yeah.
Oh, really?
What you hear is one take. The only overdub, there's some spooky percussive piano mallet hits that Marty did after the fact. Everything else was right, just boom.
Wow. So when
pass.
Yeah, that must be an amazing feeling.
Yeah, it was just, you know, it was the last thing that we had cut, and it was midnight on the final night of cutting, and we were right by Lake Michigan, so Midnight Lake Michigan.
Yeah, it works.
It's become a real cool kind of standout point in the live show.
I'm looking forward to seeing you. You're back here in July, I think, so.
Yes,
yeah,
you'll hear that one.
And I'll be here.
Oh, yeah.
So in the liner notes, it says how you had to get out of the South, right? And then you went to Chicago. Why Chicago?
Well, you know, I wanted to make a bluesier record, so I thought going to the kind of capital of electric blues would be a good idea. And when Tom Hambridge signed on to do the project, you know, he's produced a lot of Buddy Guy's stuff, and, you know, Buddy's a fixture there in Chicago, and I actually cut my teeth on a lot of the Buddy stuff coming up, and seeing him play in his club, and I just thought it was very fitting. I had made every other record of mine in the South, and I just wanted to shake things up and, you know, approach things a little bit differently. So, man, we loaded into Chicago, and Tom came up and put a band together around me, and, you know, those cats were Chicago cats, and so I like to think a little of that vibe, you know, seeped into the record. Oh,
I think it did, yeah. It has a great feel to it. It has a really interesting sound to it, and it's completely different than Turquoise.
Yeah, that was the idea. I never want to make the same record twice. I'm not into that. You know, I'm into kind of reinventing, or you know, kind of, I don't know, just changing it up every time, and give everybody, some different textures and some different flavors.
Yeah. So at what age did you start playing the guitar?
I started playing when I was 13 years old.
How'd that come about,
Well, I'd always been into music. I discovered vinyl records at age 5, actually. So I was listening to the Beatles and Kiss and, all kinds of stuff at age 5. Kind of sneaking the vinyl records from my mom's collection back into my room. And I'd just devour them. I'd learn every word, and I was just totally enthralled by the artwork, and the whole vibe of vinyl records was so cool. But it always seemed to me to be something that like gods did, It never seemed like anything I would be able to get to do. That just seemed so far out of reach.
Was that because of the family influence, or?
Not really, no, because I didn't grow up, with my dad. I didn't even meet him till I was 17, so I had a real normal, chill upbringing, like out of the spotlight, So, my path to music was very organic. It was very much my own. So I was just a normal kid living in the suburbs of Cleveland at that point. I grew up in South Texas. And a buddy of mine, I was over at his house, and he had this guitar in the corner. It was this crappy, I'll never forget, it was this really crappy Explorer, like Gibson Explorer copy. It had about an inch of dust on it. I'm like, man, Jason, you play guitar? Like, I never heard, oh yeah, man, I play guitar. Like, show me something, man. So he pulls it out, and these strings are rusted, and it's so far out of tune. And he starts playing like some Def Leppard song or something. But the thing that hit me was it was the first time I had ever seen up close, from just a few feet away, somebody play. And I just was kind of looking at it, I'm like, man, I could do that.
Yeah.
And I went home and I asked my mom, I said, hey, I want to play guitar. And she had been wanting me to do it for,
oh,
since
really?
I was 6, 7 years old. And I was always like, no, So she was really stoked when I finally, came with the desire to play. And she had an old $10 Mexican guitar with a big fat neck on it and catgut strings. It was a real piece of junk. And she handed it to me, and I said, well, no, I want to play electric guitar. I don't want this thing.
Right.
She goes, well, you get good on this, and I'll buy you, an electric. So I went fast work, and I learned a few tunes, enough to impress her, and I got an electric in about a month.
Really?
So, yeah.
Oh, that's cool.
And I've been playing ever since, man,
So you mentioned you didn't meet your dad till you were 17?
Yeah.
How was that initial meeting? What was that like?
It was good, man. We had talked on the phone, for a few times prior to it. So we kind of knew it was coming. He was going to be playing a concert in St. Louis, and so I told him I'd come up, and we met backstage and hit it off right away.
Really?
Good. Yeah.
Good. Yeah. I think a lot of people are interested in that part of the history. So I mean, I'm glad that the meeting went well.
Yeah, and it'll be in the book,
Yeah, and you're gonna open for him, right?
Yeah.
You going on tour opening for?
Oh, we're doing a handful of dates in the spring. We do that every year, go out and do some opening sets for him, and then we jam together and stuff. It's good.
How's he doing?
He's doing great.
Yeah. Were you at the last show at the Beacon?
I was at the final 2.
Yeah, I saw you out front that night. I actually screamed at you, I love the new album, but I was there too.
Okay, great.
And what an amazing event that was.
Yeah.
What was it like for the family?
It was bittersweet, It was, the final song, I just embraced my cousin Gladriel, Dwayne's daughter, and, had some tears and some laughs and a really wonderful private after party at this Italian place, and,
Is that joint right around the corner from the Beacon?
I don't think it was right around the corner, but it was cool. We just reserved the whole place for the band and the families, and wine and food, and a lot of just real positive vibes on a really good run. They're one of the best runs in rock and roll history.
Oh yeah, and what an amazing night that was.
Oh yeah,
great. And I believe today's your grandmother's birthday. Is that true?
I think it is. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm bad with dates, but yeah, she's.
Galdriel posted something I read.
Yeah, she's amazing, man.
That's
she's
cool.
Still trucking. Yeah.
I was told that you're, among all the things that you like, 2 of them are museums and art and cats.
Yeah. I've always had cats, for sure. Just got a new one. Otis. He's a little rambunctious orange tabby. Yeah, I've always been a cat lover. I don't know what the deal is. They're so chill. Museums I try to go to whenever I can. It seems to be less and less these days, unfortunately. But when I'm on tour and I have a day off in a big market, I'm always looking for an art museum. That's paintings, you know, whether they're modern or whether they're you know, hundreds of years old. Art just does to my eyes what music does to my ears. You know, it's a real turn on.
Do you collect art as well?
Not really. I haven't really had the time nor the place, but I have my eye on some stuff. You know, I'm sure in the future that'll be an investment that I'll be into. Yeah.
So I can't see the guitar in the photo. I don't know if you can hold it up. I asked you a minute ago who signed that.
Mr. Les Paul signed that. Yep.
And when did he do that?
I want to say it was about a year to a year and a half before he passed. He was still maintaining a every Monday night show at the Iridium in New York City, and I just wanted to go and shake the guy's hand, you know. And I had a gig later that night uptown, so I stopped into his gig, and I had my guitar with me because I had to play later in the night. And I shook his hand, I got to chat with him for a bit, and he goes, "Oh, you got your Les Paul guitar?" I'm like, "Yeah, man." Yeah. I got a gig later, and he goes, "Well, you want me to sign it?" And I'm like, "See, I've never really been into signed guitars, you know." But I'm like, "Yeah, you're the only guy that I would let sign this guitar, so yes, I would love that."
Oh, that's cool.
And he signed it, and he handed it back to me, and he said, I'll bring you up on the 5th song, you know. I'm like, whoa, I'm about to play with Les Paul. And man, we got to jam together, and that was a highlight of my career. I mean, it was.
Oh, that's awesome.
Like 3 years of guitar lessons inside 5 minutes. You know, it was absolutely incredible.
Yeah, that's an amazing experience for you.
Yeah, it was great, man.
Yeah. And is that is Dwayne's Strap?
This is not.
It is not.
A lot of people think that's Dwayne's Strap. It is made by the exact same cat that made his.
Oh, okay.
And he keeps me in the same strap. I like it. It's my homage to my uncle.
Yeah.
And it's very unique. It smells really bad because it's all leather, and I sweat like crazy, especially outdoor festivals and stuff. So you pull this out, you're like, whoa.
Do you play any of his music?
Any of Dwayne's music?
Yeah. Do you play any Allman Brothers songs in your own?
In my set, I've been known to do 1 or 2. You know, I don't. You know, my thing is about my own path. You know, so when I do that, it's not because I have to. It's because I want to. Because a lot of fans, you know, trickled over from their world into mine, and you know, I want to pay my respects. You know, I'll also do a Stones tune, or you know, a Doors tune, or a Hendrix tune, or what. You know, these are all the, you know, the grandfathers that kind of started all this stuff. So obviously, it's a little closer to home with it being a family, but there's a real, you know. There's a balance point there. You know, I don't want to play too many. It's not my music.
Right.
But to pay a little respect, I think, is classy, and you know, keeps the integrity.
Yeah. Well, you seem to be developing your own style and your own music anyway. So.
Well, you know, I just thought that if I just continued to work and work and work and work and play all over the world and play my stuff and put out records and build my fan base, that you know, eventually, instead of being only known as Greg Allman's son, that I would more be referred to as, you know, from the famous Allman family, you know, like as an extension of it, rather than just a step under, you know. So at the end of the day, it's happening, you know. It's finally, that's finally how it's.
You feel like
perceived.
You're hitting it?
Yeah, that's finally how it's perceived, and either way is cool. Like, I mean, I was born who I was born. There's nothing I could do, you know. I just, I try to spend my time worrying about being a better guitarist, being a better singer, being a better writer, you know, and all the other stuff falls into play.
Yeah.
But it is nice to know that, you know, after a solid decade of making records and touring, that, you know, it's not just, oh, that's Greg's son. It's like, I got my own vibe happening, and
oh yeah,
I'm proud of the work ethic. That's, you know, that's the one thing nobody can ever take away from you is your work ethic.
Yeah. And where'd you learn that from?
Well, I spent my 20s on the couch, you know, like doing jack shit. So I don't know, man. I think time taught me that lesson. I think, you know, I hit about 29 or 30, and I was like, man, I really need to go do something, you know, and I think, you know, it kind of scared me into it. So I've been running pretty hard ever since. Yeah.
Anything that I haven't asked you that maybe I should?
I think we're good, man.
Yeah?
Yeah.
I appreciate your time.
Oh, man, I appreciate it.
And I'm really looking forward to the show tonight.
Oh, it's going to be fun.
Thanks, Devon.
Thank you, bud.
Bye-bye.